Thank you so much for joining in. So, I've often felt that tuning in was a form of service. I didn't know how, but I felt it so deeply. And I recently found this quote of Bruno's. What a human does for himself, for his own body, that is divine service. That is where we start, dear friends. So if we're tuning in, if we're taking care of our body, then we're actually in this process of freeing ourselves and freeing our body from evil. So Bruno explains this very beautifully. I'm going to read a little bit from the book Powers of the Spirit, page 255. Picture a human body as a bucket and the immortal spirit as a stick. That, throughout its entire life on earth, is stuck in the bucket. At the moment of death, the stick, the spirit, is pulled out of the bucket, the body, and separated from it. But no human being accomplishes this process of letting go on their own. When the preordained hour draws near, a particular angel helps so that the spirit can be freed from the body. You call him Death and are mostly afraid of him. For me, he is one of my friends and helpers from the spiritual world, who ensures that the will of God is fulfilled. But now back to my comparison. So the stick, a walking stick is what is meant, is stuck in the bucket. If a human being has taken an evil, that is illness, then there is dirt and filth in the bucket, and the bucket which God had filled at birth with the clear water of life has become a rubbish bin. But in this case, it is not only the bucket that is filled with stinking rubbish, but the same filth also clings to the stick. If this stick has not been cleaned when a person goes home, because they are holding fast to what is not good, then the burden will continue to cling to them, even on the spiritual plane. During a new incarnation, the still tainted stick plunges into a new bucket filled with the pure water of life. Now, what should I tell you? Within a very short time, the evil that still clings to the stick and has been brought along with it spreads out into the whole vessel, and the child's new body is burdened in a similar way to the one which had been previously laid aside. Do you understand now, my friends, why so many seriously afflicted babies are born? Every person who does not overcome an existing affliction in their present life because they do not fully accomplish an inner separation from what is not good is confronted with the same evil time and again, which with every incarnation can become more intraceable and unpleasant. The only thing that puts an end to this truly vicious cycle is the will to turn around and to become mentally and spiritually free. So that you'll understand me better, I'll take up the previous simile again. The tainted stick that has been pulled out of the bucket must first be cleaned before it is planted in a new bucket that has been filled with the pure water of life. That is why it is so important to let go of what is not good and not take it up again. Only then can the stick, that is, the human spirit that has been cleaned through the divine power, enter without difficulty in the sphere that has been appointed for it and prepare itself in peace for a new life on earth. Think, my friends, if a human being has succeeded in inwardly freeing themselves from all afflictions before they go home, that is, if they simply let go and hand themselves over to the grace of God, then everything that is not good stays behind, and a purified, liberated stick soars into the spiritual sphere. And this is the greatest and most lasting healing, since it has a healing effect in all future lives as well. So if we're tuning in, if we're taking in this energy and cleaning this bucket, our body, and cleaning the muck that can cling to the stick and go with us into a future life where, in a sense, we're not just cleaning up our own body and our own soul, but it seems to me we're cleaning the world. We're cleaning a part of the world. As Bruno said, we start with our body. Once we become free, then we're able to help others become free. Then we can become what we are. What Bruno was, very clearly a servant of God and an instrument of God. But Bruno was adamant that we first have to, metaphorically, put our own house in order, or in this case, clean up our own bucket. So thank you so much for listening to this video. And, one friend of mine, when she was new to this path, she said, well, this is all well and good, but I don't have time to do Einstein. I don't have time to tune in. Well, Bruno talked about that we need to really prioritize. We really need to prioritize our spiritual growth. And what she did is she said, Bruno, please help me find the time. And then here and there, she would find little minutes throughout her day. And those minutes turned into 10 minutes, turned into longer times, to where eventually she was able to find lots of time throughout the day to tune in. And she's become very committed to this path and had multiple healings, very powerful healings, actually. I was actually present when she was completely healed of severe food allergies. So if we feel like we don't have time or we resist tuning in, then we can ask Bruno for help with that. The beautiful paradox is, in taking care of ourselves and taking care of our bodies, we're actually doing divine service. Thanks so much for watching. Much love.